All right, Serana. Jeez, be patient. All right, going into the Soul Cairn. Dust Cairn. That's a location. Dustman's Cairn. That's what I was thinking of. All right. I could very easily get Arvac by doing this. I don't. Might as well. I could also. Oh wait. There we go. Grand Soul Gem. Take this page. Diminishing. I already have something like that. Or at least I already have that enchantment. Alright. Off we go, Serrano. I don't remember what the reward is for giving that guy his pages either. But kind of continuing on my conversation from last week, pretty much 5 seconds ago. Or like 20 seconds ago for me. Yeah, but I'm excited for treyarch's next game. Mainly because they actually have a full year of development for it. And with like all the kind of the setbacks that they had with Cold War, where it didn't even start off as their game that they were making, it was actually Sledgehammer's game, and they just had to pick up pretty much recreate it from scratch. It's like, and that was during the time of the Rona. It's fascinating to see like what they were able to do in that time. Yeah. I know Arvac, that cool ass undead horse. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Especially, again, they have like a full time development that they need, because the last time they're able to fully develop a game and a COD, a Call of Duty game, was for Black Ops 3. That was the last time they're able to fully develop a game. So now that they're actually able to do that, I'm excited for it. And I like a lot of the stuff with zombies, like the Cold War zombies. Some things I find questionable in what they were thinking. Oh, hi, Arvac. I know exactly where his spot's at. It is over there where my hut is. Well, kind of in this direction. I think it's right at that tower. Not this one, but the one my crosshair's directly on. But yeah, so really being able to just try out the zombies and stuff like that, it was fun. Like starting off, it wasn't great. I mean, the first Easter egg, it didn't even have a cutscene, but that's just mainly because, they had to work at home. They couldn't work in the studio. Oh, texture issues. They couldn't work at the studio itself because, everybody had to stay at home because there was a stay-at-home order from the government. So I was like, all right. So if you look at it, it's understandable that there are a lot of issues with it because of the fact that they couldn't work on interactions between characters like they normally were able to. So they just had to go through dialogue. So if you look, there is a good retrospective by Chopper from like a few weeks ago. He's a YouTuber. It's CH0PPER. He does a lot of COD stuff, a lot of like zombies stuff, and all that great stuff. I like his content. But he did a great retrospective about the campaign, about how because they were just hindered due to the lockdown, the only thing they could really work on was dialogue, and that's the best thing you can do whenever you can't have a bunch of people together, is just a shit ton of dialogue. We all know what's going on here. And that's the same with the first zombies map, is like they didn't have the opportunity to have the actors be in a room together to have that opportunity to make a cutscene. Now that's different with Firebase Z and the Outbreak Easter eggs and Martyr Totem and Forsaken. That's very much different because they, like, the lockdowns were kind of letting up and stuff, so they were just given that opportunity. But being able to do that, let's say like maybe 9 months of development for like the main stuff, like the base game that came out, it's it's fascinating that they're able to do that. And god damn it, I'm getting distracted by this dialogue here, and just really having fun with it. Like, and god damn it, I'm focusing on this choosing options. This is a good example of like dialogue. Like you have different options and stuff like that, and yeah, it's just shut up. All right. Let me just take off my headset so I don't get distracted by this. More or less, it's just this whole thing of, since they now have a full time for their development, it's much better. They can continue the new story that they're growing. I'm excited for it. It's much more. This is something that I'm actually happy for. I mean, the promise. There are a lot of promises now. The self promises with what's going to happen with zombies. I like Outbreak. I know a lot of people, it's very split, like looking at the playtime and stuff, like, oh, round based versus Outbreak. It's pretty exactly 50-50, but more or less, you pay attention to that stuff. It's like, oh, it makes sense why, because there are issues with Outbreak. There are a lot of fucking issues with it. One thing that I wish they did was how you could just if you could choose what, like, if you're not going for the Easter egg and stuff like that, if you were just trying to just have fun in Outbreak, like, you could stay on that map, and then as the world difficulty gets, like, the world difficulty increases, and then more zombie spawns happen, like, and all that stuff. Another thing that people don't like about it is just the armored zombies, how after a certain point, let's say like around, pretty much or after round 25, armored zombies become such a major fucking thing. They're too important. They spawn way too often. It's like, oh, well, fuck you, game. You're trying to fuck me over because, yeah, the upgrade system, that needs to be a little more revamped. I wish it wasn't that each time the game updated, it wasn't so, oh, we're keeping you super fucking strong. Like, yeah, let us be strong, but don't make changes to the point it just kind of becomes, you don't notice it after a while if you already more or less it's what am I thinking of? It more or less becomes a whole thing of you've reached this point of having all this, like, the Ethereum crystals, like, oh, they become pointless after you max out everything, and everything for me is maxed out, like all of the upgrades. So the weapons, you have tier 1 through 5, every single one of those is maxed out for me. The specialists, I still call them specialists, essentially your skill, your abilities, like Aether Shroud, healing aura, stuff like that. After you max that out, it becomes pointless as well. Yeah, like, yeah, all right, cool. Now you're just essentially a god in the game, as long as you don't fuck it up and you have a good strategy. But more or less, there's no incentive to continue playing unless you're trying to go for the Easter egg, or going for Easter eggs, or going for what I'm doing right now, which is trying to get pretty much all the firearms, getting Dark Aether for all the firearms, all the melee weapons. That's fucking pointless. I already have the E-tool, which is the best melee weapon in the game, in my opinion. The E-tool, I already have that with Dark Aether on it. But, like, after that, there's no incentive. I mean, if instead of, well, for the Ethereum crystals that you would have gotten, in my opinion, whenever you max things out, instead of, like, the Ethereum crystals that you should have gotten for, let's say, exfilling at World Tier 3 in Outbreak. So for World Tier 1, you would get 1 Ethereum crystal, 1 base, like normal tier Ethereum crystal, and then at World Tier 2, you would get 2, or whatever, or, like, yeah, you get 2, and then the second highest rarity Ethereum, And then at World Tier 3, you get three. Yeah, is it three? Yeah, I think it's three of the of the low tier Ethereum crystal, two of the second tier Ethereum crystal, and then like one of the highest tier Ethereum crystal. So if you do that enough times, essentially just going to World Tier 3, and like you're already level 55 or whatever in the game, where you have everything unlocked. Well, everything's unlocked, but you just haven't started like upgrading it or anything. You can get everything upgraded like at most within like 2 days if you take your time and stuff like that. If you don't take your time, you can get all maxed out within, let's say, about 16 hours, because that's if you're like, so if you're taking your time, 2 days at most. If you're being efficient with it, just like mainly kind of doing, not even killing all the zombies on the map or anything like that, but just kind of clearing out the world events, and then the main objectives for outbreak, like the outbreak zone that you're in, then yeah, I would take like 16 hours, because it's a lot of Ethereum crystals that you would need to like collect. Yeah. But it's, I wish that instead of like after you max everything out, that they had this whole thing of like you get a fuck ton of XP for like all the Ethereum crystals that you should have gotten. Like if you already have everything maxed out, it should just kind of accumulate to where you just started leveling up a fuck ton. Or more like it kind of, or like you could collect them, and then after a certain point you could like turn them in for XP or something like that. I kind of wish that was a thing, because then it would have made zombies a little more interesting and shit like that. I wish that instead of like having operators, they kind of had what World War II zombies had, where, and I think a lot of people agree with me on that, will tend to agree with me on this, how instead of having operators like as the main thing, you have a set group of characters that you play as, and then after you complete the Easter egg, you can play as an operator. That's kind of what I wish they had. And also, like, I like having the easier Easter eggs because you get the story, but I wish that they brought back the much more difficult Easter eggs as well for the hardcore fans, because I'm planning on buying, in like the next couple of days and stuff like that, I'm planning on buying Black Ops 3 for the Xbox One, just so I can play zombies and then spend time doing the Easter eggs and shit like that, because that is the most fun game to do Easter egg hunting on. I know it is, like at least trying to do Easter eggs on. Oh, that was not a good burp. There was a bit of throw up behind that, and there's one up my nose. Ugh. I cannot fight through it. Ugh. Gross. But yeah, so if you look back at World War II zombies, that was a Sledgehammer game, by the way, for people that don't know, or if you just don't care. Like they had a regular, somewhat simple to do main Easter egg, and then they had a really difficult, like, hardcore version of that Easter egg where you get more information about the story, like more behind the scene, kind of like about characters and stuff like that. I kind of wish they did that, because if they did that, then it would probably have kept a lot more people invested in the game itself. And more or less, I kind of wish that they would, I'm hoping that they, for the next game, Treyarch won't do the whole thing of like, oh, the map is released, we're going to withhold the Easter egg for a few days. For probably, how long did they hold, how long was the Easter egg, for D Machine? I can't remember how long the Easter egg was held back for. I think it was probably for a few days, maybe a week at most, and it was already completed within, like, because everybody knew everything about the map already, it was easy to complete it. Like, Easter egg hunters were just able to complete it within the first day that the Easter egg was out. So it's like this whole community, like you're kind of not letting the community be able to bring itself together and bring more traction towards your game. That's kind of where you're fucking yourselves over. So it's like, oh, okay. Where's Arvek's skull at, actually? I just not thought about that. I've been spending time talking about COD. I think it's over here. This spot. Yep, this is it. Yep, that's Arvek's skull. But yeah, you think about that, all that stuff. Like, there's some things from other games that have zombie, like other Call of Duty games that have zombies in it, where they can really take a lot of inspiration from, and they combine those ideas. Treyarch's next Call of Duty game can be fucking masterful, especially for the zombie side of things. Single player, like the campaign and stuff, yeah, the campaign will always be enjoyable to me. And I mean, like, the whole reveal during Forsaken, or like, oh, Zykov, the guy during the intro cinematic, like the preseason intro cinematic for zombies, when the game came out, he was that guy, that Russian guy that got sealed within the particle accelerator room, that had a gas mask on. He's the guy that both Omega and Requiem were talking to see if he could help, like, see if either side could receive his help in essentially either protecting the world or recreating it in their own image and shit like that. He was the bad guy. He was the one that was controlling everything after he saw what the world was like, when he caught a glimpse of it, when the machine was turned back on, when Omega Group went to Nacht der Toten at that location in Poland, and essentially restarted it, and he saw that nothing had changed from when he essentially sacrificed himself back and near the end of World War II. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense. That's amazing character development. Now, if we had something to better develop his character by, instead of just intel, but having maybe like mini cutscenes of like characters interacting with him in some way and shit like that, it would have made the game, like the zombie side of things, a lot better and kept people's attention. Well, that's just me. And I mean, if you look at Vanguard Zombies, there are things that it did wrong, and there are some things that it did right. I mean, let's look at Shinonuma, the aesthetic for that. If, like, that's their only actual round-based map. I'm not considering the Archon, their other round-based map, because that's just their other semi-outbreak map, just turned into a round-based map but green, and it's fucking gross looking. I don't even have Vanguard. I just watched like when the Easter egg hunt for that was going on. I just watched that, and I was so disappointed with that. I was like, yep, it's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Oh, you have arrows that I'd like to get. You... God. And I mean, like, what Vanguard did really good about the zombies, like the new Dark Aether storyline, is that, oh, this is what the Dark Aether was actually like. It was essentially, yes, it's its own dimension, and all that stuff, and there were already beings existing in it. So when the original storyline ended, and Samantha and Eddie, young Edward Richtofen, essentially stopped the cycle from continuing, everything from the old storyline was brought into the Dark Aether, and elder gods that existed in the Dark Aether realized, oh, there are other universes out there. There are other dimensions that we can control, that we can command over, and shit like that. So they essentially, it's a very occult in a way, and I think that'll fit in a lot more with kind of the early 90s setting, because there were a lot of groups during that time, during the end of the Cold War in the 90s, where there were a large amount of occult groups that were trying to do stuff and trying to make a name for themselves. So it would make sense to have that going on. This is more like a speculation of like what they're going to do, but I mean, at the end of Cold War's like chapter 1 pretty much, for the Dark Aether storyline, it's now who's going to be in control of the Dark Aether now that the Forsaken Zykov is trapped in that machine. What elder god is going to be in control? Who is going to cause the most damage? What is Project Janus? What's going to happen to Sam? Like all that kind of stuff. So it's just more a large amount of speculation. I haven't even put my headset back on my head anymore, or haven't put it back on my head in a little while. I've just been so invested in talking about this because I love zombies, man. It's such a fun game mode. And the first map I ever played on was Kino der Toten, but that was on like the Wii version of Black Ops 1 or whatever. Was it Kino? I think it was Kino der Toten. And then the next map I ever played on was Origins, and that's one of my favorite maps. I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo on my right shoulder of the elemental staffs from Origins. I've been thinking about doing that because I really like that map, and that's really where things just kind of went batshit insane. But for those of you that actually enjoy zombies and kind of know relatively what I'm talking about, what do you guys think about it? I'll take this. I think I already have it though. What do you guys think about it? I know this is a long ass conversation and not many people are going to watch this all the way through, but really I would love to know. Hang on. I want to go into settings real quick and then all right, there we go. Back out of settings. I got my screenshot for the day. Well, for this video. But yeah, what do you guys think about it? I don't expect all of you to be invested in this stuff like I am, but I love the storyline stuff. I've watched both, I think, Mr. Rafflewaffle's video on the Aether storyline, as it's called, and I don't remember who made that almost 7-hour video going over every single fucking detail of the Aether storyline. But I've also watched that. God, that video is so long. So, it's like 6 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. But it's still a good video. It goes over every single detail, which I'm somebody who is a stickler for the details, depending on like certain things. If it's lore for a game I enjoy, yes, I will gladly pay attention to every single detail. Kind of like with Ark. I love the story for Ark. It's so good. Take, yoink, yoink, yoink. Grab that. All right. All right. And the soul essence jet So I have to go on a local map. I keep forgetting. I'll quickly do this and then end off the video. Oh yeah, and then I get to speak to Durnveer. Yay. Whoops, went the dumbass way. But yeah, again, I'm excited for Treyarch's next game. I should not do that because that's just gonna cause audio to be all fucked up. I'm fine with it being like this. Yeah. Whatever. Hell yeah, I'll call your name. I'm not gonna do it often, but yeah, I'll call your fucking name. Yeah, I'll just kind of over this. Alright, I'm gonna go to the altar now. Quickly get back my soul so I won't be weakened. Ugh. And then when I get back to Skyrim itself, I will, well, to Velix, I can't, I'm gonna call her Val. When I get back to Val's workshop, then I'll end off the video. Also, I do like how they brought back, well, this is, now I'm just gonna be talking about enemies from Cold War. I like how they kind of modernized the Avogadro. If you guys remember that from Transit, that's essentially what the Tempest is. So the Tempest is essentially what the Avogadro was. If you look up certain, what the fuck? Look up whatever the second to last map is for the Aether storyline on Black Ops 4. Like the main boss is essentially what the Tempest is the Avogadro. I kind of wish that the boss for the first Outbreak Easter egg was something different. I'm fine with it having been a Tempest, but looking back at it, it was kind of dumb at the same time. I mean, the design is cool, but I do have a screenshot. I'll probably, like, it's probably going to be up on screen right now, but I do have a screenshot of, like, a Tempest that was just kind of weirdly being idle. Thank you. You're my soul gem. And I'm gonna go back. Hopefully, I'll go back the right way. Here we go. Got it. But yeah, I may I did not go the right way, but just. All right, thank you. And then it's this way. Yep. And I also like how the Mangler is essentially the Soldat from what is it? Gorad Krovi. And then of course you have the Panzer, which is the original Soldat from like Origins, like which was the other type of Soldat, the Panzer Soldat, which you have the Panzer Krasny or something like that. I don't remember what it's actually called. Of course, I'm actually going to spend time like showing up all these images and stuff on screen while I'm talking and like having them be side by side. Oh yeah, I remember the name of the boss for the first Outbreak Easter egg. It was called the Legion. Ooh. I mean, I wish that they kind of had more Elder God types, like more Elder Gods and stuff in Cold War. Like the only one that you ever really fight is Orda, and he's not really all that interesting. Is just kind of boring, really. I mean, for the first time you experience him, that's cool. But the fact that during the second Outbreak Easter egg, you have to fight Orda again, it's like, come on, guys. You've already probably fought him probably 16 different times, doing just Outbreak in general, like around World Difficulty 2. I was like, come on, give us something a little different. Maybe bring back Legion as a boss fight, I guess. That'll be... Or maybe both Legion, like a much simpler version of Legion and Order or something like that. I don't know, but I'm fine with how, like, what the difficulty was for the game. Because I enjoyed it. I still want to complete the other two Easter eggs. so I can just have an like be able to spawn with an epic rarity weapon. People also, like, even when I was getting into it, like during the fucking the hunt for the super Easter egg, it was like, if it really is on an outbreak map, it's most likely going to be in zoo. I remember thinking that too, and then a bunch of other people that were like on Twitter and shit were like, yeah, it's probably going to be on zoo if it is an outbreak on the outbreak map. Like, what is it going to be? What are you going to get for it? Oh, all you get for it is being able to spawn with an epic rarity weapon. Oh, cool, I got an achievement. And also just really being able to get a bunch of emblems and stuff, because you can't have custom emblems anymore. But that's, I mean, that was cool. People kind of misread it. They never actually said like a super secret Easter egg. They said super Easter egg. It was like, oh, so people, like, they kind of, also the wording of it was kind of odd too. It was like, oh, is it going to be something on the maps? I was like, probably should have worded it as like an outbreak. Like, it's something on outbreak, it's on zoo. At least it tells you how many of the Easter eggs you have. So like, I might actually end up go and play and then take screenshots of stuff. Or just like find screenshots on online and shit like that. No, bloody tanker. I don't need this. But yeah, just more or less, it's just this whole thing of, yeah, it could have, that whole like, oh, the super Easter egg hunt. It's not a super secret Easter egg. It's just a super Easter egg where you can just spawn in with an epic rarity weapon and get a bunch of emblems, which I mean was cool. And on screen probably like the image of what it looks like. So on the first, you have like 6 pillars. The first pillar is the machine Easter egg. The second pillar is for Firebase Z. The third and fourth pillar are for the 2 outbreak Easter eggs. The fifth pillar is for Mauer Toten, and the final pillar is for Forsaken, that Easter egg. So it's letting you know what Easter eggs you completed, and that's really cool. I'm like, that's cool. It shows you your progress. But you can only be able to spawn with an epic rarity weapon if you completed all 6 of them. So the first 2 Easter eggs you complete, you spawn with a common rarity weapon. The four if you complete 4 Easter eggs, Easter eggs and quests, let's just call them, main quests, like quests for the maps. If you complete 4 of them, then you can spawn with a rare weapon. That's the next rarity up, and then after that is epic rarity, the second highest rarity weapon tier you can get without pack-a-punching it 3 times. So base damage wise, it increases 4 times, and then it and then on top of that, it increases another 3 times, like 1.5 times each time you pack-a-punch it. I don't really know how that upgrading system works for it. I like how I've been talking about zombies. I'm gonna end the episode soon anyways. I like how I've been talking about zombies for the past 2 episodes, but it's not even really related to what I've been doing. I've just been kind of mindlessly playing the game and doing this. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this random ass fucking conversation for the past couple of episodes. I have, because I've just been able to get a lot of stuff off my chest. I'm taking off this, by the way, and I'm also gonna save the game. And again, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Next week I will see y'all when I think I'm just gonna get the dragon. Well, I'm more or less gonna kind of continue further down the quest line for Dawnguard, and I already know how to get into get to where I need to go. I remember the location, so I'll see you guys next week when I do that. Please like, comment, subscribe. Have a good time. Bye.